Chosen one, you are about to encounter something that will shake the very ground beneath the foundation of what you believe to be true. Something so divinely aligned, so precise in its resonance, that once you've absorbed it, there will be no returning to the former version of yourself. This isn't merely a message, it's a spiritual alert. You have been summoned, not by chance, but by divine intention. The moment has arrived for your ears to receive what your spirit has long whispered. You are not just significant, you are essential in the grand orchestration of something enormous. The signs, the waiting periods, the loneliness, the abrupt changes, none of it was random. They were hints, breadcrumbs placed with divine precision for you to follow. Before we dive deeper, pause for a second and allow your inner being to tune in. This isn't just a video or a message. This is a direct invitation to your higher calling, a celestial whisper meant to activate something ancient, sacred, and undeniable within you. Watch this message until the final second, miss nothing, and declare your intentions by writing your purest desires and 777 in the comments below. That simple gesture of putting your faith into words initiates something extraordinary in the universe. What you claim, you begin to draw toward you. Now, chosen one, like this message, subscribe if you haven't already, and let us move forward. Here's what must be heard. Your journey has not followed the common path because your purpose was never meant to be common. While many wandered in circles, you were being led through deserts. While others took shortcuts and received applause, you were being refined by fire. And all the while you asked, why me? But now a more accurate question rises within you. Why not me? Because deep within, you've always sensed the tension, the friction between what you've lived through and what you've spiritually felt. And now, here's what was hidden from you all this time. They tried to prevent you from discovering the truth, because your truth carries extraordinary power. There are truths about your identity, your origin, your divine purpose that they did not want you to uncover. They veiled it with distractions, discouragement, and disbelief. But no matter how deeply they tried to bury it, the seed within you couldn't stay suppressed. It is rising now because your appointed time has come. Hear this loud and clear. They feared the version of you that would emerge once you fully stepped into your essence. You are encoded with spiritual DNA that is rare. You carry within you keys that unlock spiritual doors, realms of understanding and power that few are called to access. Perhaps you've already noticed that life doesn't seem to play out the same for you as it does for others. You've watched people soar, celebrate, and succeed with ease, while you've been carved through the storms. But here's the startling truth. Their path was never designed for the magnitude of your assignment. Your road was shaped by trials because your arrival is destined to create shifts. This is why the attacks on your spirit were so pointed. This is why the betrayals cut so deeply. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Your calling required shaping. Your heart had to be molded, your motives refined, your voice tuned not to mimic others but to deliver messages straight from a higher realm. You were set apart from the beginning. And finally, the curtains are being pulled back, and clarity is beginning to flood in. You are seeing that everything, the betrayals, the endings, the silence, had to happen. Certain people had to walk away so your spirit could hear what it was meant to. Certain doors had to close so that your feet could find steady ground in divine truth. What looked like failure was actually divine removal. Each delay, each redirection, each unanswered question was steering you here to this exact moment where your awareness sharpens and the hidden pieces click into place. And here is the undeniable truth. You have been divinely marked. You were chosen to receive insight others won't understand. You've been trusted with vision that unsettles the comfortable. Your path is not about safety. It's about transformation. You were born to challenge systems, to bring light to the spaces that have long existed in shadows, to speak life where silence had reigned. But before you could do that, you needed to learn the price of divine vision. That's why you never felt like you belonged. It wasn't because you were broken, it's because everything about you was right for a mission much larger than what the world expected of you. People couldn't grasp your essence, not because you were too much, but because they were not meant to define your value. Now, something inside of you is rising. It's subtle, yet powerful. It's unexplainable, yet impossible to ignore. That's the sound of truth reverberating in your spirit. That's chosen one. The true shock isn't your strength. The real surprise is that your enemies recognized your potential before you did. That's why they tried to quiet you early on. That's why they threw distractions your way. Pain, toxic relationships, burdens that were never yours. But the veil is lifting, and once you awaken, no deception can keep you bound. Not even the lies you once accepted to keep yourself small. Understand this. The greatest fear of your enemies was never your downfall. It was your recognition. They were fine with your struggles, but they trembled at the thought of your awareness. Because when you finally see clearly, when you receive the truth and hold on to it, their influence dissolves. And that moment, it has arrived. You are in the eye of a spiritual shift. What was hidden is surfacing. What was scattered is being gathered. What was silent is now declaring itself. And you, yes you, are being summoned to stand tall. Your very existence is about to shake environments. Your voice will break the silence. Your mission is no longer paused, it's in motion. Prepare yourself. The revelations are going to accelerate. You'll start making sense of your past in ways that will astonish you. People you left behind may try to return, not out of affection, but because they sense your ascension. Be vigilant. You are no longer who you were. You're being equipped, spiritually fortified, and divinely positioned to unlock destinies and open spiritual gates. You will have moments when your growth feels like madness. That's the nature of transformation. There will be times where solitude returns, not to hurt you, but to protect you during the transition. Don't avoid it, embrace it. That is sacred space, a consecrated chamber for becoming. What's ahead requires a level of insight and stability that most people aren't ready to carry. But you were fashioned for this. Your spirit was sculpted to perceive, to endure, and to elevate. You weren't chosen just to make it through. You were chosen to dismantle what was never meant to stand. You'll enter places and shift energies. You'll speak words that shake illusions. And yes, you will be misunderstood. Don't let that throw you off. Let it reassure you. The confusion of others is confirmation of your authenticity. The truth is, heaven established your identity before earth ever tried to label you. The original blueprint was always intact. You're simply arriving at the moment where you align with your own divine design. Your pace is correcting itself. Your way is being cleared, and your past, it's being rewritten under the authority of divine redemption. You are not waiting for fate to find you. You're walking boldly into what was written for you since the beginning. Get ready, chosen one. What lies ahead will stretch you, refine you, and ultimately crown you. This isn't just the next phase. This is your sacred unveiling. Now that the veil has begun to lift, you may notice strange shifts in your surroundings. Conversations may start to feel hollow. Spaces you used to endure will now feel suffocating. You'll enter a room and immediately sense what's misaligned. That's not paranoia, it's spiritual activation. Your senses are tuning to a higher wavelength. You're no longer just observing with your eyes. You're discerning with your spirit. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's an intentional, spiritual evolution. For a long time, you received just enough insight to move forward. But now, a full stream of divine wisdom is pouring into you. What once baffled you now becomes perfectly clear. The unexplainable now makes sense. This clarity is not random. It's the result of a divine release. And the most shocking part? The very traits you once questioned, your deep empathy, your intuition, your resistance to shallow environments, were never flaws. They were evidence, proof that your soul was carrying depth in a world built on superficiality. Your depth unsettled those who feared going beneath the surface, but your era of apologizing for your spiritual sight, your depth, your sacred truth, that season is over. You are not here to blend in. You were born to illuminate. And now, finally, that's exactly what you are beginning to do. You're being called forward. No more waiting for validation. No more dimming your brilliance to make others comfortable. No more asking for permission to embody your strength. Chosen one, power is not something you're trying to acquire. It's something you're finally giving yourself permission to express. You've been hidden in open view. You've been walking through life appearing ordinary to those who lack the spiritual eyesight to perceive the fire burning within you. But that fire, it's rising now, and it can't be concealed any longer. They will be stunned. Those who misjudged you will have to reevaluate everything they assumed, not because you'll be louder, but because your presence will now speak volumes in undeniable silence. The truth is, the ones who ignored your value were never meant to recognize you. It wasn't by accident that they didn't see you. God concealed you for preservation. He allowed you to be overlooked so you could evolve privately. You were shielded from early exposure so that your foundation could be unshakable when it was time. And now the spotlight isn't dangerous. You've endured too much not to shine. Chosen one. Your presence in someone's journey will begin to feel like revelation. You will speak and people will feel awakening. You'll enter rooms and the energy will immediately shift. The authority you carry has nothing to do with ego. It has everything to do with frequency, with alignment, with finally walking in the identity heaven authored for you and hell trembled to see activated. Yes, new elevations bring new challenges, but do not be intimidated, because every spiritual ascension comes with divine reinforcement. You're not stepping into this phase alone. You're entering it flanked by every spiritual being assigned to your mission. The pressure might increase, but so will your power. The resistance might intensify, but so will your rest. You'll find yourself releasing things you once clung to. Relationships, environments, beliefs. Let them fall away. Don't mourn what is leaving. It's creating room for what's about to enter. Don't weep over endings that were stifling your growth. That tension was confirmation. That closed path was heaven's redirection. And now the transformation begins. You'll look back and say, this was the pivot. Not because the world around you shifted first, but because you shifted. You stopped looking for confirmation and became the confirmation. You stopped begging for signs and recognized that you were the signal. You were created with the code inside. It just needed the divine timing to be activated. Chosen one. This is your emergence. This is your realization. This is the unraveling of every false label that tried to cover your truth. It's the reversal of every curse whispered against your existence. You're not just healing, you are ascending. You're not merely recovering, you are reclaiming your divine inheritance. And no, the world isn't prepared for this version of you, but that's not your problem. You weren't sent here to be palatable, you were called to be unmistakable. So stop watering down your truth just to be accepted. Stop dimming your essence to avoid confrontation. Stop justifying your elevation to those committed to misunderstanding you. The season of explanation is over. This season is about demonstration. It's about living with such rootedness that it becomes your loudest message. It's about embodying such alignment that your daily existence confirms everything you once tried to convince others of. You'll notice your speech evolving. You'll talk from future vision instead of past pain. You'll say things like, "I'm prepared," and mean it with conviction. You'll declare, "It's already mine," and feel it as reality, because you're done waiting for confirmation. You have become the living example of faith in action. This level of clarity can't be imitated. This confidence can't be borrowed. It's yours because you earned it. You endured the waiting. You survived the silence. You passed the hidden tests. You sat in unnoticed rooms, absorbing truths that went uncelebrated. But heaven was watching. And now, heaven is answering. Your upcoming moves will bewilder those who thought your story had ended. Your glow will confuse those who thought they dimmed your light. Your stillness will frustrate those who hoped you'd remain broken. But let them witness it. Let your evolution speak. Let your alignment shout louder than your words ever could. Because here's the real truth. You are about to step into environments your former self wouldn't have even imagined. You'll find yourself at tables crafted specifically for you. Chairs that were once denied to you now carry your name. You'll hear of opportunities forming in conversations you've never even entered. Why? Because destiny doesn't operate by human permission, it follows divine orchestration. And that orchestration is now in motion on your behalf. Be attentive, the message is resounding. The energy has completely turned. The veil is removed. You see with new clarity now. You know now. You're no longer waiting, you're advancing, you're no longer wondering. The shock isn't only in the revelation, it's in realizing that everything behind you was leading you to this point. And this is still only the beginning. Chosen one, what's unfolding in your life right now is not chaos. It's not confusion. It's divine wisdom rearranging your outer reality to reflect your inner truth. Heaven, the universe, the invisible realms, you are not average. You are not wandering. You are not unclear. You are the embodiment of divine intention. You've simply now aligned with who you've always been. The surprise is not that things are finally happening. The real surprise is that it was always meant to be this way. Everything is aligning now because you had the courage to align with your truth. The spiritual blueprint of your life is being exposed in stages, and now you understand why certain doors never opened, because you were still being fine-tuned. God was aligning every part of your being before placing you in your rightful position. Now that you've accepted the call, everything starts to click. Doors open without force. Conversations lead to divine openings. Individuals appear, bringing answers to prayers you've barely spoken aloud. Why? because you're no longer resisting your own power. You've stopped silencing your inner wisdom. And now the supernatural flow is active and nothing can hinder it. But be mindful. This next phase will come with decisions. You'll encounter chances that appear promising but are not aligned. You'll be tempted to fall back into old rhythms simply because they feel familiar. But this is the separation point, the space where the chosen are distinguished from the comfortable. You must choose authenticity over applause, alignment over attention, purpose over popularity. What's being formed now isn't for a moment, it's for legacy. That's why the pain you endured carried such intensity. It wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to prepare you. It dug depth within you so you could carry the weight of what's coming. Because real blessings come heavy. Real glory has a cost. Many desire the outcome, but reject the process. You didn't. You stayed. You surrendered. You trusted in silence. And that's why you're entering spaces others only dream of. Let's go even deeper, chosen one. You're not just rising, you're being entrusted. Entrusted with sacred vision, entrusted with divine insight, entrusted with influence that carries consequence. And with trust comes responsibility. You must now guard your energy like it's holy, because it is. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Your presence is now consecrated. Your voice carries power. Your silence speaks wisdom. You'll find people drawn to you for answers. Without effort, you'll become a calming force. Not because of arrogance, but because of your anointing. Your presence transforms atmospheres, not by force, but by frequency. You have become a vessel for the divine to move through. This isn't about religion, it's about resonance. You resonate so purely with truth now that lies feel suffocating in your space. And here's another revelation. They saw this in you before you did. That's why they tried to derail you so early. That's why confusion met you before clarity ever did. Because spiritual darkness always detects when a light bearer has entered the world, and it moves quickly to dim them before they realize who they are. But you were indestructible. Every rejection was divine redirection. Every heartbreak was spiritual protection. Every lonely moment was sacred preparation. Every setback planted something holy in you. And now those seeds, they are breaking open into miraculous harvests that no force, no person, no circumstance can block. What belongs to you is finding its way to you. What's meant for you is unfolding right on schedule.